Alright, today we're talking about the update to that video of is the lens sharp enough? And most lenses can be. This here is the Albinar-ADG MC Auto Zoom Macro 4.5 to 5.6 80 to 200 millimeter 49 millimeter filter thread Japan lens for the Minolta MD mount. And you know, it's pretty okay. I mean, it's definitely sharper than I thought it would be. Usually, you know, old zoom lenses, your stuff's hit or miss. Zoom lenses weren't always the optical peak performance that they are today. And even still, something like this back then would have probably cost a pretty penny in comparison to some other lenses that would, well, they would probably be a better bet depending. But you had trade-offs for zoom lenses, right? Like you got more focal lengths out of it, but worse optical performance. Nowadays, that's not so true. You probably better off buying zooms for 80% of the applications. However, with this lens here, I have a nice, not smooth focus ring because it's old and I have no idea the condition it was stored in. And you have a only full stop aperture ring, which goes from 4.5 to f22. You know, it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Just this lens, it has really close focusing, 1:4 macro, and you know, I like the push-pull zoom more than I thought I would. I thought like, oh, it's just going to constantly move when you're trying to focus it, but it doesn't, not really. It's actually pretty good. And it's solidly built. Who would have thought, right? It's all metal, at least that I can tell. It looks like it, feels like it, must be it. So, what's it like using it? I mean, it's hard to focus. I probably talked about that in the earlier video, but I forgot. You know, the viewfinder on an old film camera isn't like the ones we have today. You know, I have my kit lens here on the 60D, and at 5.6, the viewfinder is still pretty bright and usable. Autofocus still works. But on an older film camera, you know, the viewfinders were very large and beautiful, but you stick anything slow on it and it becomes really hard to focus. Such is life, I guess, you know, it's just stuff gets better over time. But you had more things to think about if you bought a compromising lens, which this would have been. You know, convenience, you trade in some light, but the convenience is there. So my convenience was saying, all right, screw it, I'm bringing a tripod, and it wasn't very convenient. I hate lugging those around, but it works. So I took a few things, I'm looking at them on the screen because I'm anxious when I look at cameras, and I'm not gonna lie, I can't really find a setting that gave me an unusably soft image. If it was a soft image, it's because the camera shook or I messed something up. It works really good. I mean, I was staggered. I was like, wow, these are sharp. And it's not only sharp because the film is sharp. I used HP5. But, you know, the developer I used too seemed to play pretty nice. And it was just Arista regular liquid developer. Wasn't the premium stuff, I don't think, because I didn't see it on the bottle when I was looking for development times. And I think I overcooked some of these a little bit, but it is what it is. You know, a lot of these videos that I'm making now, like upcoming, you'll probably be like, yeah, his film looks a little bright. And on the HP5, I'm afraid that I did let it go a little bit too much. Happens, man. It happens when I'm still new at film developing, especially because I'm doing it myself. And I hit the compressed air on my desk. Either way, all I can say here is if you're thinking about getting this guy and you find it for cheap, I would.